many agendas were taken up today. The first one being the proposal for the amendment of the Meghalaya stamps in brackets payment of duty by means of e-stamping rules 2020. So this agenda was pertaining to the, as you all know, the e-stamping rules was, the Meghalaya stamps rules was notified by ERTS 5 /2019/75 on the 16th of November 2020, and it was formally implemented on the 25th of November 2021. This e-stamping project was initially started in the East Khasi Hills district only, and that also was only with one counter in the DC office, which was operated by the Central Records Record Keeping Agency, or in short the CRA. And we have seen that the response has been very good, and it has shown a lot of positive response from the citizens in terms of the ease of doing their business, especially for high denomination non-judicial stamp papers. So based on this experience over this few years, we have decided and we have found it necessary to extend the implementation to other districts in the state, like West Shantia Hills, West Garo Hills and Ribhoi district, and also with the ultimate aim that we will be able to extend this to all the districts of our state. The CR, Central Record Keeping Agency, had suggested that the implementation of the project in other districts may be made through the appointment of authorized collection centers, which will be duly approved by the government. So this will increase the penetration of the services and make it more widespread, and also improve the ease of doing business, especially for other districts in the state. However, what was pointed out by the CRA was that the commission charge was very low. It was to the tune of 0.65% of the stamp duty collected, and the CRA had to, on top of it, share this with the ACC as a part of the said commission. And as the ACC has to provide the computer hardware, the consumables, including manpower for the project as well, it was not found to be commercially viable for them to implement the project. So we've seen the examples being carried out in other states in the country, be it Karnataka, be it Assam, be it Tripura. If we look closer to home in the northeast, a nominal stationery or a service charge is being allowed to the ACC for the purpose of e-stamping. And what we have decided in our state is that for non-judicial stamp paper of denomination up to 1,000 rupees, a service charge would be levied of rupees 10, and for non-judicial stamp papers of denomination exceeding 1,000 rupees, a service charge would be levied to the tune of rupees 20. And further, to improve the ease of doing business, it was also considered necessary to provide direct access to the portal of the Central Record Keeping Agency for the citizens to make purchases of the non-judicial stamp paper. And for this purpose, we have also brought amendments, which I was speaking about. So there are two amendments, and basically the amendment is just a second. RA, and directly pay the amount of e-stamp certificate not exceeding rupees 500. So we have we were only extending it to rupees 100. Now we are extending it to rupees. So we are increasing it to rupees 500 in denomination after first registering in the system. And the CRA shall, after prompting the purchaser to verify the correctness of the entries in Form 4, provide a downloading facility to the e-stamp for the e-stamp certificate. So these are basically some of the amendments which are being brought to rule number 20 and rule 22. And also to rule number 25. Okay, so this was the first agenda which was taken up and discussed in the cabinet, and the cabinet has given its due approval, and this agenda was passed. The second agenda, which was responsibility and budget management amendment ordinance of 2020, so this is an ordinance which is being brought to amend the Meghalaya Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Amendment Act, about Budget Management Act 2006. So this amendment is pursuant of a letter that we have received from the Government of India, the Ministry of Finance, which has allowed us to increase the annual borrowing ceiling. This has come from the Ministry of Department of Expenditure, Ministry of Finance, wherein the government has allowed for us, the state government, to increase our borrowing limit by 0.5%, which would take it to, that means an additional borrowing space of 0.50% of GSDP, however linked to performance in the power sector. So this was discussed, and this also has been approved in the cabinet, and which basically will increase our annual limit to 4% of the GSDP during the fiscal year 2022 and 23. The next cabinet for amendment of the Meghalaya Judicial Service Rules 2006 and the Meghalaya Higher Judicial Service Rules 2015. This has come up because there was a full court meeting of the Honorable High Court of Meghalaya dated 9th of May 2022, which resolved to amend Schedule B of the respective rules, and a copy of the letter by the Registrar General communicating the same has it reads that with regard to the Meghalaya Judicial Service, Schedule B to the rules shall be amended to introduce one compulsory paper, that is paper 4, on either Khasi or Garo language, and this paper shall be compulsory, for which a maximum mark shall be fixed, and unless a candidate secures the minimum marks fixed, he shall stand disqualified, and his performance in other papers shall not be evaluated. With regard to the Meghalaya Higher Judicial Service Rules 2015, similar provisions shall be included in Schedule B, making compulsory for the candidates to have knowledge of whether Khasi, Jaintia or Garo language, including a compulsory paper on Khasi, Garo and Garo for the written examination, and unless a candidate secures the minimum marks fixed, he shall stand disqualified, and his performance in other papers shall not be evaluated. So this matter was also discussed, and this is I think a very welcome step, considering that the state is also pushing for inclusion of Khasi and Garo in Schedule 8 of the Constitution of our country.
0.5%.
So the additional borrowing limit enhancement to the tune of 0.5% of the GSDP. So I do not know how much it will be, but you will have to make the calculation that it will be 0.5% additional of the GSDP.
Whether this will include in that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, please.
The overall limit that allows for the state is to 3%. I think it has increased to 4%.
Earlier it was 3.5.
3.5. So
Yes.
now I have increased to 4%. So will this 0.5 will be within this limit, or will increase?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
I would say earlier it was 3.5%
Yes.
was allowed for the state of this for borrowing. So due to this COVID, the government